savageorlandomagic.com.
Cliff, when you were around Steve as a player, did you get the sense that he would make a good head coach if he ever decided that's what he wanted to pursue?
Oh, for sure. He was, he was an incredible person to learn from. As a coach. Not only, I mean, he came in every day to me. He had a plan for himself of what he wanted to accomplish that day, and then he also had a plan of how he could help other players. And it was amazing to watch him actually. And it was, we've stayed in touch. I mean, he'll tell you this. I've called him since he got done coaching. Probably every few months, just to run things by him, from leadership things to basketball things. So I'm not surprised at all.
Alex Schiffer, The Athletic.
Hey, Steve, I feel like this is deja vu because I think I asked you this exact question in the bubble with the Nets. But you're facing a team that just had a ton of attrition with the trade, obviously. So guys like LeVert and Allen, who were a big part of what they did the first 13 games or so, are now gone. I guess just what's useful with the scouting report now, given they're incorporating Harden for the first time, and that's a blank slate, and given everything that you see on film the first 13 games, it's kind of now null and void.
Yeah, I mean, what we did was just took like their, the bigger actions of what they've been doing regularly. And obviously they have, the KD package, which I'm sure, they'll use Harden in a lot of that too. And they have like, all the stuff they do for Joe Harris. So, I mean, we just tried to hit on as much of that as we could. And then a lot of it, as you know, I mean, you always try to take things away and be prepared, but the bigger parts are always your basic principles anyway. So, that's what we haven't been good at these last 3 or 4 games, that we really need to be locked into ourselves.
Keith Smith, Yahoo.
Hey, Coach. What does it mean for you guys to be able to have Khem Birch coming off the bench and know you're just going to get solid production out of him almost every night?
Oh, he's invaluable. I mean, he's such a good player. And, again, like there's nothing more important than having consistent, reliable guys on your team. And that's what he is. He plays to his strengths. He understands who he is. He's a good player at both ends of the floor. And you never have to worry about energy or does he know the game plan. I mean, he's a very, very valuable player.
Josh Robbins, The Athletic.
Steve, to follow up on that, could you make an argument that Khem is actually your most improved player this year?
I'm trying to think. I mean, that's a great question. I haven't thought about it. But I mean, for sure, I'll be honest. If you go back, Josh, whenever he's gotten a chance to play, he's played well. So if you go back to 2 years ago, which is the best stretch we've had since we've been here, he was right in the middle of that, where he played at the end of the year and in the playoffs. Last year in the bubble, when he got a chance to play a lot, he played well. But he's definitely improved his skill level. He's a terrific worker, and he's always in the gym doing extra. So it's a good question. Again, I hadn't thought about it, but he has made great gains.
Roy Perry, Orlando Sentinel.
Steve, we've talked a lot about the physical challenges of this season, and I don't know if we've talked so much about the mental side of it, but how do you feel like the guys are handling that so far, and how concerned are you with the mental challenges that the guys are facing this season?
I think it's where we're at today, and that's why I'm interested to see for tonight. Is what we talked about is I think that handling frustration, handling disappointment, handling success, those are all big parts of a team and individual players. And when you play 72 games over the course of a season, every team will go through some difficult times. I mean, for us, because again, you have to be transparent with your team. I mean, as you guys know, there weren't high expectations for our team when we had everybody healthy. And our guys understand that. And yet, I do think they understood that with the team that we started the year with, there's no question in my mind, but we had the kind of group that we could be a surprise team, and we still can. But what I sensed, last night in particular, is, we have to find a comfort level, and I have to help them with that, because I think that, we have to have a way that we can play with this group, minus Markel, where they experience success before we're going to be able to take a step forward. And this is where the lack of practice time is really coming into play. So I've got to find better ways to help them and, go from there. I mean, the reality is, we just, we don't have a lot of room for error, and that's fine. There are a lot of other teams in that same boat, and there's always ways you can get better. And like I said, that's what I have to help with.
Okay, Christian Winfield.
Hey, Coach, Christian Wimple here with the Daily News. Sorry for the noise in the background. It's pretty loud here at Barclays. I'm just curious, in terms of game planning for a team that has two superstars in James Harden and Kevin Durant, I mean, do you change what you would normally do in terms of how you would approach a team, any other team, or can you stick to what you normally have implemented? Do you have to change anything for these guys?
I mean, we'll do, we'll do a couple of things, but there's two parts of it. Being on a back-to-back, everything we had was just a walkthrough in the hotel before we came over here. So I think you want to be careful of how many things your expectations of what you can do on a second night like this. And then the only other thing is, every time you're double teaming one of them, obviously it creates space for the other one and Joe Harris. So it's, I think it's difficult. This is the first time we'll be playing them with them on the floor together. And I think the more you play them, you might be able to learn little things that you can do. But the reality is, the nature of how they play, it's going to be difficult to do a lot, in my opinion, to be doing a lot of blitzing or double teaming with that much offense on the floor.
Christian, do you have a follow-up? All right, we'll go to Dan Savage, OrlandoMagic.com.
Cliff, I know you said last night that you felt yesterday's shoot-around was one of the worst in terms of the team being attentive. I know you only had a walkthrough today, but how did you feel your group responded?
I feel, I think good. Like, we have guys, you guys know them, and they want to win. I think sometimes it's not, especially when you play so many games, it can be misconstrued sometimes as, lack of intensity or this and that. But when the ball doesn't go in the basket, teams can look like they don't care. And the thing for us is, we have to defend regardless of how how things are going at the other end of the floor. And we talked about that today. That's what we've been good at for the last 2 years, and we need to get back to that.
Okay, go back to Alex Schiffer, Athletic.
I raised my hand by accident. Sorry.
No worries. Josh Robbins, The Athletic.
Steve, I noticed that J.I. was on the bench he was in the bench area last night. How tough is it to carry on rehab during a pandemic when you're away from home, headquarters, all the machinery you guys have there?
Well, we have obviously everybody here, or most of the people here. So he's able to do his full, schedule of rehab while we're on the road traveling.
Roy Perry, Orlando Sentinel.
Steve, will you start the same group as last night, and do you have everybody available tonight that you had last night, or?
Yeah, same guys with the same minute restrictions. So, our playing group will look, similar to what we did last night.
Okay, Christian, did you have another question?
Yeah, I thought of one more. Coach, you know, you're pretty well known for just your attention to detail on the defensive end of the ball. So I'm just curious, when it comes to star players like a Kevin Durant, like a James Harden, like a Kyrie Irving, do you rather, you know, is it take away them and force everybody else to beat you, or is it take away everybody else and force the stars to beat you on their own?
Yeah, I would say that's a great question. I think it always starts with what can we live with each guy, and then what can we take away. And I think some of that is determined somewhat by who they're on the floor with at a given time. You know, if there's only one of them out there, you can be more aggressive. I think it's how comfortable they are playing against double teams. And unfortunately for all of us, those three guys are used to being double teamed a ton. So they're all very good at it. And I think that probably what you'll find with most coaches, what's going to happen is you don't want to give them a steady diet of any one thing. You know, there'll be some double teams, there'll be some drops, there'll be some switching. You know, again, we didn't put in a lot of stuff today. We did work on some double teams. But again, when they know what's coming, you know, they're also used to getting special attention, that they're comfortable. So I think as much as anything, you have to be able to switch things up.
Okay, any other questions for Coach Clifford? All right, thank you all.